So is Carlos Rodon the right fit for the Yankees? Is he the right guy to take a risk on this offseason as a number 2 starter behind Gerrit Cole? And what else would you do around Carlos Rodon? Because, in my opinion, more needs to be done. Before we get into this, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please hit that subscribe button now. Okay? It's really helpful to not only the channel's growth, but to also kind of bring it out to a broader community around the world. I'm trying to share this with a broader community. But if you want to watch all the videos as well, hit the notification as well. You're going to know everything going on this offseason. With lockout, not lockout, minor league signings, anything, especially in Yankee world. So, and obviously I appreciate it. It's very, very helpful to the channel. So we're on the road to 10K subscribers. So that's the next milestone we want to hit. So, but it's really, really helpful and it's greatly appreciated. But with that, let's get back to the meat and the potatoes here. Carlos Rodon, okay? I've emphasized this probably a million times. And I'm going to continue to emphasize, I'm of the opinion that the Yankees need 2 starting pitchers, not 1, okay? For a number of reasons. One, there's too big of a gap between Gerrit Cole and the rest of the rotation, okay? The Yankees have too many injuries every single year in the starting rotation. There's a bunch of guys that go down. I mean, we're already going to start 2022 with Jamison Tyone out for a couple months. Like, we're in December, and he's going to be out. So that just goes to show you how fragile starting pitchers can be. He was solid. You know, Matt Blake did a good job with him, and he did a good job with a lot of other relievers and a lot of starters as well. So, and hopefully continue that trend. But with that said, I don't think it should be Carlos Rodon or somebody. I think it should be Carlos Rodon and somebody. But the topic right now is Carlos Rodon. I mean, he was picked as the best time to have his best year. I mean, he was 13-5 with like a sub 2.4 ERA, 180 plus strikeouts in 130 innings. Like, he was money this year. But again, he's got that big arm and a very high ceiling, but he's known to have injury-prone years, okay? And so that's something has to be kept in mind. Now, how do you, aside from bringing in another starting pitcher, which I think they should do, how do you kind of build a fortress around that to help keep him healthy? Well, you know, I'm gonna give some names, and Luis Severino, Nestor Cortez, Michael King. Why do I mention them? Those are the 3 guys I think should be long relievers in the bullpen. Okay, Nestor Cortez was great for the first half of the season, but he gassed out. So this gives him an opportunity to continue building up his arm strength and maybe transition back into the starting rotation. Severino's coming off a 2-year-plus injury, Tommy John, and setbacks after that. So this gives him an opportunity to throw some, 3 or 4 good innings and then maybe build his way back to the rotation. He's in his last year of his 4-year extension, so keeping him healthy would be a very, very important thing. Okay. And Michael King, he's shown to be valuable in short relief and long relief, and even as a spot starter. And any 3 of these guys could be spot starters too. But in the event that, let's just say Gerrit Cole gets hit around, or Rodon's here and he gets hit around, these guys can come in and throw multiple innings as needed instead of having to use 7 to 8 pitchers, which the Yankees did far too many times the last couple of years. So this is a way of giving that protection in the middle. So you're protecting the starters and the short relief guys like Ridings, the power arms, Chad Green, Aroldis Chapman, and the crafty guys, right? Clay Holmes and the rest of these guys, Joely, Wandy, the guys that generally throw 1 inning at a time. So this is a valuable padding, and we don't really know what's going to happen with Clark Schmidt and Davy Garcia. So Clark Schmidt's got a nasty arsenal, so it would be nice as a long relief guy as well. So 3 innings of nasty pitching, just like I would love that from Severino. And, Luis Hill, he's still young and developing too. So even though we only had a small sample size, having these long relief guys helps protect guys like Luis Hill and even Luis Medina if he's not moved in a trade for somebody. These young dynamic starters, which the Yankees haven't had many of recently over the past, really, since like Andy Pettitte, who have panned out at the major league level. So having a good fortress at middle relief kind of helps the bullpen and the rotation, particularly for a guy like Carlos Rodon. So do I think he's a worthwhile risk? Yes, but I think he's a worthwhile risk if they have enough guys set in long relief and if they have the bullpen set. And the bullpen seems to be set. That other part, that long relief part, is where I'm most interested and where I'm most concerned for the Yankees, because they haven't really done a great job recently at that. But now they have the guys who, and especially depth of them, that can handle this type of stuff and ease guys in like Carlos Rodon and let him throw 30 games, even if you get 5 innings out of him. Great. That way you're not having to use 7 or 8 pitchers after that. You can bring in a guy like Severino for 3 innings, right? And then transition over to Johnny Lasagna, and who I didn't mention before, and like Chapman and all these guys. Instead of having a starter go 5 and then having to use 6 more pitchers to close out the game, and then you having to use a bunch of them the next day, and then you have a bunch of guys that are not available when you need them or tired or whatever. This gives you versatility. This gives you depth that we generally don't have in the Bronx, that they do now. They should capitalize on. Okay, so it's just a thought, but what do you guys think about Rodon? And again, Rodon and trading for one of those Oakland A's pitchers, or even a Luis Castillo or a Zach Gallen from the Diamondbacks would be fantastic. 2 starters would be much better than 1. And again, you also want to protect Garrett Cole too. In his prime years, we want to take advantage of his prime years, just like we want to take advantage of Judge and Stanton and some of these other guys in their prime years. So building a fortress of pitchers would be a good idea. And again, the Yankees did have an offer out to Justin Verlander. And just to tie this into spending a little bit, which we're all frustrated that the Yankees haven't done anything, but keep this in mind. They had a 25-year offer, 25 per year offer, or at least for 1 year, to Verlander, plus a 20+ million per year, 6-year offer for Simeon. Obviously, they went elsewhere, but if the Yankees had signed both of them, their payroll would have gone over $270 million. So let's not forget that. So they were willing to spend before. I'm confident they will be willing to spend again. They're just going to have a better idea in terms of the spending parameters. And again, generally it's a 20% penalty for any dollar over $210 million. So they would have been paying a 20% penalty at $270 on $60 million over, right, the threshold. So that would have been another $12 million penalty. Because imagine if they raised it to $240, 20% on 140, and then the difference between the debt is $30 million, and then they're paying a $6 million penalty instead of 12. So I get why they're not being aggressive just yet, and maybe they're even relieved that they didn't sign those guys. But that said, I'd still expect them to be aggressive. They'd be foolish to not spend and take advantage of the free agents. And I'm glad they're bringing in some guys for depth right now on minor league deals, which they should be doing because they have a lot of holes to fill. So, and hopefully some of them will make it at the major league level again. So, but with that, Carlos Rodon, you let me know what you think. I do think he's a worthwhile risk with those conditions, particular conditions. So, let's get into it, guys. Give me your feedback. Over and out.